YouTube, how are you doing? And welcome back to Phasmophobia. What you are currently looking at is the default settings of Phasmophobia when you first install this game. And the default settings are absolutely terrible. One of the first things you should do when you download this game is change everything. Now, there's a lot of settings that are very confusing and that you probably are not going to recognize from other games. So even if you are someone who, as soon as they load up a game, opens up the settings and changes everything that they're liking, there's still a lot of stuff you might miss. So in this video, we're going to go over everything that I use and that I change when I play Phasmophobia to make the game experience so much better, and I really hope you enjoy. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop into the game. Let's go. Oh, baby. Here we are. So, I didn't change anything. This is the default. I bought a new computer, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you all of the settings I used. First of all, I don't know how the hell this is the default situation that you get loaded up in. It's actually worse than this. So the first thing you should immediately change is go into your video tab and change the brightness setting right here. I actually changed this literally instantly as soon as I loaded up the game because I almost puked how disgusting it looks. The brightness is actually set to 0.0 when you start up the game. You can't even put it down that low. It's literally set to an impossibly low value when you first load up the game. Immediately increase this to the very least to 1. I personally put it at 1.8. There was a time when I put it even higher than that, but this is absolutely bare minimum. Look at that night and day difference between especially out here or in the truck. You just cannot, or in the house, you cannot see anything. Even more so with the current lighting system. Now, besides that, there's a lot of other stuff. I keep making this mistake. I'm gonna fix this right away. Well, let's just go over these first. So, I haven't actually looked at this. I just thought we'd go over this together. So, VSync is on by default. This depends on you, on your system. Some systems you want to run with VSync on, some with VSync off. I think I usually keep it on because otherwise, games have a tendency to go really, really high in terms of frame rates. Well, it's set here to 120 FPS, which is fine. But sometimes if a game has unkept frame rate and you don't turn on VSync, your game might go absolutely crazy. If you're like recording on the side or something, the recording will get absolutely destroyed. So you need to make sure to turn VSync on. Then obviously we're going to turn on anti-aliasing. This is always very fucking confusing to me. I think MSAA is the best anti-aliasing you can have, and you can just put that up to high, which, by the way, let me preface this before we keep going here, and I'm gonna cover everything, by the way. We're also gonna play the game to test if everything is working as intended, because I need to make sure that my settings are back to normal. I'm gonna assume, I'm gonna set these settings for someone who has a good computer, so who doesn't need to worry about graphical, like, glitches or having a low-end computer system, so that your settings should be probably lower than this. If you're interested in that, that's not the video for you. You can just leave it at default or at least change the bare minimum, such as the brightness, but then don't touch settings like this, which will make the game run way, way, way higher. This right here, you can actually turn on. This is like super sampling. If you are having performance issues, you can, or it's like dynamic resolution that will reduce the resolution dynamically to make the game run better. I'm not going to turn that on because it reduces the texture quality. Texture quality obviously full. Now this right here, apparently it's on by default, but it's actually very important to make sure you keep that on because without that, the light of the weather is not going to reflect off of. So you see that building right there? You see how that building, it has light on it? If I turn off the skylight, the light that is from the environment will not touch that building at all. It will just be completely black, so definitely keep that on. But I'm glad to see, I'm just also reviewing the default settings, seeing how that works. Fog quality, very important. Turn this up to high. If you turn this up to medium or especially low, I mean, I guess if you have to, you have to, but it looks fucking disgusting. It will make like these really weird artifacts in the fog that make fog weather look absolutely ridiculous. Now, right now, the fog weather has also been made way, way worse in terms of visibility, but they're probably gonna change that in the future. I don't know what they're planning with that. Soft shadows, obviously the way to go. Shadow resolution, I'm just gonna turn everything up to high that I can here. Bloom, I'm glad to see that they've changed these settings. Bloom used to be default on. Definitely keep that shit off. That looks disgusting. I'm personally not a fan of film grain or chromatic aberration, so I'm gonna turn both. I was thinking, what the hell was that in the corners of the screen? But oh my god, that looks so much better. Look at the difference. I mean, if you like this stuff, you like this stuff, I guess. But the corners of the screen are very, very ugly right now. There's this like filter on top of the game that's adding film grain. Definitely turn those off, at least if you if you like a clean experience, such as myself. So that is for the main video tab right here, but we are not nearly done. Second thing, you can leave this is the game setting here. Definitely keep crossplay on once one console comes out. That's going to be very exciting. Right now, this does absolutely nothing because there's no crossplay, I think, unless... Is the game on Epic? I don't even know if it is on Epic. Voice here, you can set to whatever language you want. I would recommend to keep it at Vosk if you just want to have a smooth experience, because Vosk... So the voice recognition mode here, you can set it to different things. Vosk is the new system, which is a little... It's a little harder for it to pick up your voice, but it will not have any bugs. Windows has a few bugs that if you alt-tab, it stops working. You have to fix it by pressing the Windows key twice, which is not a problem for me because I'm so used to that, and I just like that you can say silly stuff like, are you French? Do you like pizza? Stuff like that, and that just does not pick up when you're using Vosk. So I tend to use Windows. You can also use text, which if you're using a spirit box or something, it will pop up a menu like this. So if you don't have a microphone or anything, you can still play the game by using text voice recognition. But I'm gonna run it on Windows. Mouse sensitivity, I just use my mouse program to change the DPI to whatever I want. So I never really touch that unless a game is super sensitive mouse things. This I don't touch ever. I don't know how people can play with inverted stuff, but I guess that's just something you use for. And here's the other two extremely important settings that I cannot believe are default set to these values. Field of view, 70. I thought it was 60. That's... At least it's 70, but holy fuck, it is disgusting. It's not as bad as 60. 60 is worse, but turn this up to 90 immediately. You get so much more visibility. It is so much better to look at. It doesn't... If I play at low FOV, it gives me like this like tunnel vision. It gives me like this motion sickness that just... I don't know. It makes me feel sick when playing games. So immediately turn that up. Depends on who you are. I know some people get motion sick because of high FOV. I'm just not one of those people. For me, it's the complete opposite. And then this other setting, which I do not understand at all. Why would they put this at 100%? This is the cursor brightness. The cursor... This actually used to be 10%, by the way. This used to be at the lowest value. This is the brightness of the cursor in the middle, which you can barely see right now. And this is on a black surface. If it's on a white surface, say goodbye to your cursor. Where is it now? No one fucking knows. It's gone. You have to turn this on all the way to 500. It still makes it, especially with how bright some things can be, it can make it way harder to see, but it is so much better. Look at that. And still it is hard to see. This is 500% brighter. I wish you could turn it up to literally like 2,000%, because it is still extremely hard to see in some situations. So yeah, I just wish that they would either give like an or customization for the color or something, or like just make it dynamic. Like if you put it on a white surface, it immediately becomes black. I guess that would be hard to do, but anyway, so those are very important settings. Head bob, this depends on the person. I don't mind head bob. I'm gonna leave head bob on. This is something that if you don't like it, you can turn it off. I actually think we might turn that off. We're gonna play a game here in a moment just to test the settings. Sprint settings, this is for accessibility. If you want a toggle or a hold, I'm a hold kind of guy. Obviously Celsius, if you use Fahrenheit, what the fuck are you doing? I'm just kidding. Just whatever you want. Alternative ports, I honestly don't even know what this is. I think this is for if you want to run it on like university Wi-Fi or something. You have to turn on alternative ports. You would have to Google that. That is something for like if your firewall, your like company or university firewall blocks the multiplayer of this game, you can do that. But I'm not gonna touch that. Audio here, make sure that this is set. So there's actually, I'm gonna give you extra tips here. Very important. I have to fix this right now because I'm on a new computer. If you are on a new, or if you're installing Phasmo for the first time, make sure you go into your actual... I'm not gonna show you this because it's my computer. You know, I'm not gonna give you... I'm going to show you my private stuff, but make sure to go into Windows. I'm in Windows right now. Open the settings, go to your sound settings, and check which microphone is set as your default input device. This is very important. It says it every time you load up Phasmo. It's one of the first screens that pops up, but probably people completely miss that every time. You need to make sure that in your default Windows settings, your right mic is selected, because this mic right here that you see, this is the correct mic for me personally. This doesn't matter at all when it comes to talking to the ghost, because the ghost uses your default microphone. So make sure to go into your Windows settings. I'm changing it right now because it was set to the wrong thing, and use your the right microphone right there so you can actually talk to the ghost. Make sure you do that. And then voice, for the love of God, please do us all a favor. If you're planning to play multiplayer, fucking set this to push to talk. Do not ever touch this thing. If you set this to voice activation and I join your lobby and I'm hearing your fucking cat in the background, I'm hearing your dog barking, I'm hearing your mom scream at you that you need to come for dinner, I'm gonna fucking ban your ass or I'm gonna leave. Do not touch this. Leave this at push to talk. Make sure you set the right push to talk key because it just saves everyone a lot of pain. Make sure not to change that. So yeah, now you think we're done here? We're just getting started. I mean, we're getting close to the end, but we're just getting started because this is very, very, very important for me personally. Change the fucking keybinds. Holy shit! So many people. J for journal. This is the dumbest key I've ever seen. Or to click on your keyboard to get to something, you need to click like literally 20, 30, 40 times per game. You're opening your journal and it's this key all the way to the other side of your fucking keyboard. You have to like smash with your thumb or something. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason this is J is because it's fucking Sesame Street logic. Oh, journal. What key should we use for journal? Well, it starts with a J. Let's use J. Fucking stupid. Use tab. Tab is so much easier to hit, and nothing in the game uses tab. So if you just replace this with tab, that's it. That's easy as frick. Now I can find. I was struggling the whole time explaining this because every time I wanted to go to the settings, I was clicking tab, and I was like, oh, that doesn't work right now. I'm gonna change that later. So yeah, please, for the love of God, change that to tab. It's so much better. Now, what is kind of important with this, and this might, so tab might not be the key for you. You might have to change it to something else. If you use, like, if you're playing the game on Steam and you use default Steam overlay buttons, that is like Shift Tab. If you press Shift Tab, it opens your Steam overlay. So if you're sprinting in the game, like if you're sprinting, can I please get out of here? Why did that not work? If you're sprinting and then also press tab, it might open your Steam overlay. For me, it doesn't because I've changed my Steam overlay key to the minus key on my notepad. That's just what I prefer because I don't want to accidentally press it. That's why I changed it. So yeah, make sure that that doesn't bother you or anything. Other things very important here. If you are a gamer and you have a gamer mouse, I highly recommend you change your push to talk to a button on your keyboard. Now, or on your mouse. I have a mouse that has two buttons right here. I set it to this button right here. I just press this button, hold it when I'm trying to push to talk. It's extremely easy. I don't have to click any button on my keyboard. Keeps my left hand just on the WASD so I can loop the ghosts or run away easier while screaming to my teammates that I'm gonna die or something like that. So yeah, you can set this to whatever key you want on your mouse. I've just set it to V by default because most games use V, and some games don't allow you to change the push-to-talk key, so that's why I've set my mouse to V, because this seems to be the common key for push-to-talk. This other one, very important. I hate pressing B or V on my keyboard. My thumb just gotta be resting on the spacebar for me. That's just the type of gamer I am. So what I changed this to is fucking spacebar. My global comm is spacebar for me. I know this sounds sacrilegious because spacebar should be jump. I'm telling you, it is so much nicer. Just this massive key on your keyboard that you can just hold down to talk, push to talk. It's so easy. Those are the main things that I highly recommend you change. Make sure you you know some of these buttons though, like Q for example. Why is my something is broken here because I can't leave the why can't I leave the... Do I have to click apply? Oh, I have to click apply first. That's why. You can't leave the settings without applying it. Otherwise it won't... Or, like, it's preventing you from fucking yourself over. This right here, if you hold a bunch of items, which we're going to play the game in a second here to test these settings, you press Q. You can press Q to toggle through them very quickly. You can also use scroll wheel, but this is the maximum speed you can scroll with scroll wheel. It's not even... Holy shit, it is so bad. Never ever, I don't even know why it's like barely toggling at all. Do not use scroll wheel, use the Q key to toggle. Now another thing, if you have a flashlight in your inventory, you can use the T key by default to turn it off and on. I personally don't like T. I changed this to R. So R for me is my flashlight key because the T key, the R key is used for nothing. And I think it's another fucking, it's another Sesame Street situation where they were like, what letter should we use for flashlight? Another word for flashlight is torch. So how about we use T? Why not R? R is closer to your fingers than T. You have to go all the way across. So yeah, I don't know. R is so much better, in my opinion. So that's why I use R, because it's just closer. Just slight things, but these could be the difference between like having your finger back on the D key in time to fucking run away from a revenant, or getting blasted because you were a dumbass using tab or using J for journal and T for torch or something. Anyway, so yeah, those are my changes. Drop item and everything. Everything else I think I leave on default. So yeah, just make sure that you do whatever you want. Like, you can change those settings, just a few of the things I recommend. All right, we're going in there now. So everything is working. Another thing, oh, this is what I wanted to show you. If you have a head cam in this game, you can turn that on by holding whatever button you set for turning on your flashlight on your shoulder, but you have to hold it. Then it will turn it on. So whatever you change your special key to, that will also apply to your head cam. Now let's go in here, because we haven't even started yet with these new settings. Look at this right here. Absolutely beautiful. We should have maybe done a before and after kind of comparison walking around. I mean, I can show you the basic stuff really quick here once we turn on the breaker. Dude, like, look at the... Let me turn on the breaker here. It's freaking... Like, I don't know why the default brightness is set to 0.0. That feels like it's probably just an oversight or bug that they forgot to change. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous game. Can see everything. Very, very nice. As soon as you change these settings, so you change it to no brightness at all, which is the default, and then you change the FOV to freaking 70, which is default, you suddenly have this, like, tunnel vision view in front of you, whereas before I could see the whole room. Here, I could see everywhere. Now I have a way more narrowed view. Now, the only glitch, by the way, thank you for the 10 gift subs. The only problem that you have with using a higher FOV is that your equipment might look a little weird. It still looks weird anyway. Look at that pinky. This is on default. That pinky looks fucking ridiculous. I think it is because the game originally was designed for 60 FOV, but they noticed, like, okay, this is actually fucked up. We need to at least change the default settings a little bit higher, but they didn't want to go all the way to 90 FOV because they were like, well, then they're gonna notice how terrible our models were that we designed for 60 FOV, so they just landed on 70, but it's just, like, unfortunate that they designed all the models for because look, the model is going to look better. Don't do that. It's going to look better when I run. Yeah, here, see, this is how it's designed. It's designed for 60 FOV. The model now looks the best, but holy fuck, the game looks terrible. So I turned this up, which makes the pinky look ridiculous, but it is what it is. So yeah, this game, it looks way better already with the FOV up. You can see so much further, and I just, like, definitely highly recommend turning this up to whatever brightness your eyes can handle. Holy shit, that's so much better. All right, I'm assuming the ghost is in the basement because I haven't heard freaking jack shit, which usually means you have a basement ghost, but it doesn't seem to be that way. We might actually have some kind of shade shenanigans here or something. You know what? I don't think we lost because we were in the truck the whole time. Let's just use the board, so we can also test if our voice recognition is working, because that's very important. Another thing people often don't, or like, report about that it doesn't work for them is the board. The Ouija board is apparently notorious for being glitchy. This is gonna be my first time using it, which, by the way, I think, yeah, this has been reset for me. I'm gonna have to ask the devs to how I can change this back to what it used to be. Apparently, the case number is a locally saved thing, so it was at 7,000 for me. Now it's set to 001, but I know you can change that, so I'm gonna figure out how that's done. And luckily all my stats are still here. All my stats, my levels, my money, and everything. Case number 1, though, kind of sick. So here we go. Where are you? So if it doesn't work immediately, press the Windows key twice, and then test again. Where are you? And then it works for me. So it's very simple. I am lucky that my my voice recognition is just totally fine. Main bathroom. Oh god, I'm getting hunted. Goodbye. Oh, it's a revenant. What was I just saying? Wanna loop a revenant? Let's go. Woo! See, the difference between looping a revenant or not is using the right settings. I'm telling you. He's just so freaking slow. So now, this used to be way better. You used to be able to, like, turn up your brightness all the way to 4 and be able to basically see in the dark. You can't do that anymore. There's still this, like, light around the player. You can see that object appear, right? You can see the car appear in front of us, but they made this light way smaller, so it's not as useful. It's especially smaller towards the bottom, so you cannot see the floor very well, which is very annoying. But yeah, they know about the the lighting system not being perfect, and they are going to change it hopefully soon. So yeah, well, that was a very simple game. We got ourselves a Revenant, and I think I went over all the settings. Looks beautiful right here. Make sure you don't just, like, this is a tip I could give you just in general for playing games. Don't accept the default settings in a game. Most of the time, the devs got lost in the sauce. They were designing aspects of the game, and they might not be the most avid gamers of their own game, which not to flame DK or anything. I know he's played the game a ton, but some of the settings that are default just don't really make any sense to me. So highly recommend you chase at least the brightness, at least the FOV, and then I am a very, very avid defender of the tab for journal button instead of the J for journal, but that's just my personal opinion. If you're so used to pressing J, I guess run with it. But yeah, that is just my settings. I wanted to go over that because I often get questions about it. What settings do I use? And I don't even know what the default settings were until I got a new computer and everything was set back to default. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope that helped you. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if you want to join the lovely gamers here in chat, you could join us over at twitch.tv/insym or click the link in the description down below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you're literally clicked on this video because this was your first time hearing or seeing Phasmophobia, you just downloaded it, I have so many. I have thousands. I have like over 1,200 videos on Phasmo, so many different guides. You can check out the channel, see what you want to learn, or just click a random gameplay video and you'll already learn a ton. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a good one.